Hope everybody's having a happy Friday today. Just got back from running some errands. So it was really rainy outside. Really rainy. Those big storms. And when it rains, I reminisce. And I like to think about memories and old friends and just people that I know. And so I'm going to draw a picture of a person that I know. And if anybody knows me, they know that I worked with dogs for a number of years professionally, and I consider dogs to be people, as I'm sure a lot of you do. But this is a drawing of a special dog because I worked, like I said, I worked with many dogs, hundreds of dogs. And there are some dogs that just stand out, that are special. And I'm sure you've had, you love every single dog that you own, but I'm sure there's probably was one that was just really just very special. There was just something very special about that particular dog. And while I didn't own her, or she wasn't my dog, I mean, I spent a lot of time with her. And she started out as just as a client that I took care of with other dogs. And she definitely stood out. Her name was Akuma. And she stood out because she's a breeded dog, a bull terrier, which we don't see very often, except for, on Target ads or Spuds McKenzie. But another thing about her was that she was, her markings were amazing. Like usually when you see the bull terriers, they're white or some variation off of that. But her markings were like a Doberman or a Rottweiler. She was black and tan, and she had some white accents. And every time that I took her out, well, let's go back to the beginning. So she was just a dog that came to my work and watch her along with other dogs. She was a pretty precocious little pup. But then the pandemic broke out, and what happened for that first month, as everybody probably remembers, it was scary. I mean, nobody knew, what was happening, or where were you going to get your next roll of toilet paper or whatever. And we got sent home because I guess at that time it wasn't clear that the place that I worked at could be considered an emergency place of work, because we had clients that were first line people, doctors, nurses, fire department, police force, all that kind of stuff that was allowed to work still when everybody got sent home. So there wasn't clear, so we didn't know that for the first 30 days that we were there. So I spent that almost the first whole month just at home. Like, I was scared to even go outside. Like, I didn't go outside. I was eating canned food. I was just all holed up in my bed. I was afraid I was going to start getting bed sores, because I didn't even get up out of bed. I was watching TV. I was just really bummed out, and I couldn't hang out with all my little dog friends. So I get a call from my boss, and she was telling me that the owner of Akuma was kind of at his wit's end. He didn't know what to do, because he's a very well-known tattoo artist, really, and so he's had a lot of clients. And he was trying to get his place already. He was not. He was trying to build a second studio, even though everything was closed down. He was still building. and he didn't have time to watch her, and she was just going stir crazy. So I liked her. She was kind of cute dog, and I just said, hey, I'll take her. I'll take her out every day, because he needed somebody to take her out for 7-8 hours a day. So I was just totally cramped up and cooped up in the house, getting cabin fever, and I figured, I could take her some places that nobody was out, and I could just take her by myself places. So I got in touch with her owner, and so I started taking her to out on hikes and out to the beach, and we would just go all over the place together, go walk around neighborhoods, and just spend all day with her. And she loved it. I mean, I loved it. We helped each other. I think in that time, we really were there for each other, because we didn't have anybody. There was no place to go. We couldn't hang out with anybody. And so we ended up just spending pretty much most of the week together during that time. And eventually I went back to work, and she started coming back to work, but I'd still take her out once a week. So I'd take her usually every Saturday, sometimes on a Friday, but usually Saturday I'd take her, and we would go out to the beach. So every week we got to go to the beach, and we just hang out there and take in all the sun. And this is in California, so it's just really nice. And she's one of those dogs that people always recognize, because her markings are so interesting, and she's, there's not many dogs that have that particular marking, and people always think, is she is she a mix? And no, she's fully papered and purebred bull terrier, but she just has these rare kind of Doberman patterns. And but everybody always remembers. So I'd take her. There's some parks that we would go to, some dog-friendly parks that we'd go to, and yeah, people would recognize us, and we had a real fun time. We would just run all over the place. And the other part was her human. He had chronic, it was hard for him to walk sometimes, so he couldn't really take her out a lot. So she would really go crazy when she would hang out with me, because she knew that was this was the time she gets to go out and get to run around, and she gets to sniff all different things, go to the beach and chase stuff around, run through the sand dunes. It was a lot of fun for us, and it was hard when I moved out here, because I wasn't going to see her anymore. And then she ended up, she had funny big ears. She now basically stays with a dog walker for the most of the time. So I'm glad that she's able to go out, but I'm just kind of sad that I probably won't ever be able to see her when I come back or visit or anything, because I can't just go pick her up from my buddy's house anymore. So that's a little sad. But I saw this video. It was just her birthday on, I think, 2 or 3 days ago, maybe. And the dog walker had taken this video of her, and he took her out to the beach, and she was running all over the place. And she had took her to the pet's food store, and she got a big bone to chew on, and she's very content now. But I made one thing the other thing that's interesting about where I worked was that I just met so many different types of people, from all different walks of life. And her owner is an incredibly nice, kind person, and when I was sick with COVID, he let me stay in one of his apartments above where one of his tattoo studios was. It was fully furnished, and then my bosses and people would bring me food, and they'd send it up this little hatch, and I could get the food, and I basically convalesced there for like a week and a half or 2 weeks or something. So that was really cool, and I will never forget him or her. And they're both very special people to me, and I hope to someday that I'm able to see him. Hopefully, if I go back, I'll be able to get to hang out with her old human. But I'm sure you guys have. I'm sure some of you had bonded with dogs or other pets during the when we were all quarantined. It was a very kind of scary time. It still is a little bit, but at least sort of getting back to normal on a certain some level anyway. I don't think it's ever going to be fully normal because that stuff's out there now. But I miss hanging out with her. I miss hanging out with just dogs in general. But I know that pretty soon I'm going to be able to spend a lot of time with the dog because Anna, my daughter, is getting her service dog beginning of next year. So that's going to be really cool because I'm going to be I've been designated as the primary interface with the dog besides her. So I'll be helping to enforce the training and teach new things to the dog, and I'll learn how to work with service dogs, which is something that I've always been interested in. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, no, I like cats too. So don't think that I'm just a dog person. I like all animals. Just dogs usually need to be taken care of more than cats in terms of being watched, which is why I was watching this one here. So what I'm thinking, my wife came up with a really cool idea that I think I'm gonna do, and that's I will put up a poll sometime soon, and I will ask you guys which one of my drawings from the week that you would like to watch me finish, ink and color in, because I know people like seeing projects completed, and it's something that I'd like to work on more, because I start a lot of stuff but I don't necessarily finish. So this will help me become a better person. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna post a poll, and you guys can tell me which one you want to see. And I think what we'll do is maybe Sunday night, at some point after I put Anna to bed, I will come back on here and I'll finish up my drawing, and I'll actually talk with you guys. So I won't be necessarily telling a story so much as just interacting with you guys. So if you have any questions or anything, then I can actually answer you. Yeah, so that's the plan. That is the plan. One funny thing that I don't like, I mean, I know this comes off as sounding prejudiced, but like, you see certain dogs, breeds over and over again. There are traits that certain breeds have, like certain behaviors that, oh, yeah, that's a shepherd, or oh, that's a doodle. The one thing about bull terriers, I didn't see many, but what I noticed about them is they all seem to have this kind of weird nervous tick where if they get overstimulated, they like start chasing their tails around. Sort of funny. It's kind of sad though at the same time. But yeah, I noticed that she didn't do it that much. She did on occasion, but a lot of the other guys that I came across tended to do that. And she was definitely, Akuma was probably the sweetest bull terrier that I ever met. Very affectionate. Like a lot of them that I met tended to be kind of a little aloof, but she was always just such a little love bug. She just loved affection. She just ate it up. Such a sweet girl. Man, I miss her. Well, I'm glad that she's doing okay though. That makes me happy. There are probably about 3 dogs that I would consider kind of on the same level of like specialness that I feel that way about Akuma. One of them, I think probably, let me just kind of, what the criteria for me is, I guess, for special, what I think is special. Like, the dogs that I find to be the most special are the ones that nobody seems to like. They're kind of misunderstood, and then I have some type of a breakthrough with them, and then they totally love me. I don't know, it must be an ego thing, but I don't know. I like cracking the shell and bringing dogs that seem like not very cool and finding that they are cool. But she was one. There was another one that got rehomed, and I'm really sad about that because she was a dog that was definitely fear aggressive. Not Akumas. This dog's name was Maggie, and she her whole MO was, I'm scared of you, so I'm gonna get the jump on you before you get me. And she would like nip people and stuff when they weren't looking. And eventually, that family, they loved her, but they had a daughter, a little baby daughter, and I think at one point she didn't bite the kid, but she like bared her teeth at the kid, and they're like, sorry, you gotta go. So I feel bad about her. I hope she's okay, and I hope somebody that understood her, got her. And the other one is my good buddy, his dog, his name Carl, and he was a German Shepherd, and recently he passed away, and it was just this freak thing where I guess he had sniffed up a cattail, one of those cattail weeds, and nobody knew, and it went into his lung, and then it like came out the other side, and it like went through all his muscles, and it just really just hurt him so bad they couldn't fix him. So that's really sad. So that out of these 3 dogs, like, she is the only one that I know is okay. The other 2, one passed away, so that's sad. And then the other one was I don't know what happened to her, so and I don't really want to reach out to her owners because I don't want to make them feel bad, but I'd like to know what happened to her. Anyway, well, let's not talk about sad stuff. So anyways, yeah, so Akuma's good. She's got a good life going on right now, and she gets to hang out with other dogs because she's the guy who takes care of her, like, she lives with, is a dog walker. So she's always like, whenever I want to see her, I can just go to that guy's Instagram page and I just can see what she's up to. So that makes me happy. But yeah. So I think that's pretty much what I got for today. And I'm just, I'm doing this, and this is a whole new thing for me. I'm trying to figure out what works, what doesn't work. And, main reason I'm doing this is, like, I love drawing. I've not drawn for a long time. My wife's just been encouraging me, and it's a way for me to help contribute to the family in a way that only I can do it. I can certainly help out in other ways, and I can get jobs doing other stuff, but this is a way that I can like be creative and bring something to the table that's uniquely what I can do, and then I can also help our family, you know, and doing it in the style that of our lifestyle. Like, I came into this family, and that's what we do. We do the social media thing, and this is a way that I can try to do that and try to help out. So that's basically why I'm here, and hopefully you guys can enjoy what I'm doing along the way, and hopefully I'll improve and get better and get more interesting. All right, well, so this is Akuma, and we got to learn about her. And if you enjoyed this, if you could just like and maybe leave a comment, and then if you could follow, that'd be even more awesome, because I'm trying to get more followers. So that'd be awesome. Appreciate it. Anyway, thank you so much. Have a happy Friday evening, and I'm going to put that post up at some point where you guys can decide which drawing you want me to complete, and then on Sunday evening, I will have another live in the evening after I put Anna to bed, and then I can talk to you guys then. All right, thanks so much. Love you. Bye.